made mention of mentors and
Yeah.
people. I think it's hard sometimes for such people. Like, I'm going to use myself as an example.
Yeah.
It's like the position that I hold as a lead pastor.
Yeah.
Sometimes makes it very difficult to to get accountability partners. And yeah, I know I have you and all that, but it's sometimes you want, say there's someone that is at your workplace or someone that's in your church, and because of the pedestal they've placed you,
they can. Yeah,
it makes
can
it
platform
hard.
you.
Yeah, you've been so platformed highly to the point that even if when you establish that accountability, foundation or rule, it makes it hard, because sometimes in conversations with people that I have, deemed to be accountability partners, you can still tell that distance.
Yeah.
It's like, he's still a pastor.
Yeah.
We are below, he's up, and you can still see that friction.
And it's funny, but it's almost as if when they do something wrong, they feel they've disappointed you.
Yes, and that's far from your thoughts.
Yeah,
it's like you want, like you mentioned, an authentic, genuine, accountability partner.
Yeah,
who would disregard your lead pastoral whatever thing is, and just see you as a human.
Yeah,
who needs a friend to talk to. And it's sometimes very hard. I'm pretty sure most CEOs or mentors, people that other people deem them to be mentors, would wish to have people that are yearning to be mentees, to be accountability partners instead of mentees. But it's hard.
It can be. I think it's the way society is wired, I guess, to some extent. I remember when I served in leadership capacity in churches, past. At some point, at some point, I didn't like introducing myself to people in a certain way, because as soon as they know you by something, they close up. But when you're there, and because I'm like, and it can be a cultural thing as well.
It's one of the hardest things I've also dealt with, like introducing myself as a pastor. And there was this conflict. It's like intuitively, and based on the integrity and the trainings that have been built. Like today we're reading the book of Timothy. We're learning about Timothy and
his
relationship with Paul. And one of the things that struck me was, how his faith was traced from his mom to his grandmom, like Lois.
And about the dad though.
The dad.
when Tim said that in church, I was like, oh man. What the fathers? Like, we're trying, we're doing the best we can. Inside, the Bible didn't even capture the dad or granddad. It's like, man, we missed out. But anyway, sorry.
That actually is it. So based on those trainings that we've received, and it resonates with you. There are certain things that you hear that doesn't resonate with you, but these are trainings that really resonate with you, and you see no need sometimes to introduce yourself as a pastor to other people. But on the other hand, this is where the conflict is. On the other hand, you hearing someone tell you that not introducing yourself as a pastor is weakness.
Oh, it's like looking down.
It's like you're looking down on your office.
Yeah.
And
I don't even know office.
Yes.
I get it, from where we come
from is your office.
This is something you've got. This is you are somebody because Tim said something in church. Anyway, for those that Tim is he's a church lead in a church that we fellowship in, and if you find your security in what you do, it's really dangerous.
Very dangerous.
Because then you can start to idolize who you are, and also expect people to idolize you. And when you don't get that, you can feel like do they know who I am?
Yeah. And you might not voice it out, but internally,
it comes out.
Yeah.
We see it. We see it. We see it when we see people that want to be recognized.
in a way,
you know, and I'm that.
Yeah.
Give me that. We see that, and it comes through, and people that are more focused on serving rather than putting in your face that I'm somebody special. You need to treat me special. It comes out. It comes out. Yeah, it does come out, and God help us that we don't get too. I know there. We talk about this a lot. Yeah. Some different cultures look at leadership differently.
That's true.
Some cultures see leadership as opportunity to serve. Some cultures see leadership as opportunity to rule.
That's true.
So I'm here to serve.
Yeah.
I'm here to rule. That's two different things. And those that are ruling, they expect all their.
And it's not just by the choice of words the leader uses. Sometimes the leader can choose to use words that sounds like service. But the actions are directly opposite what he or she said. So it's by their fruits you should know them. So it's not just by the leaders, because you can preach a possible sermon on how leaders are servants. But your actions are.
You don't do that. You don't do that. Yeah, that's really we can get all the teaching right. I'm gonna go back to Francis Chan again. He said, teaching well is great, but living it does take a miracle. It does take a miracle to become some of the things we teach, and that's why we can't really boast about it. We have to open ourselves and allow God to make us what He would have us be, because the fact that you know something intellectually doesn't mean you believe it and that thing has shaped you in any way. You can teach about, I don't want to get into that, but you can teach about a topic and it would be very intellectually sound and all the arguments are in the right places and all of that. It doesn't mean you believe it, and it doesn't mean you practice it.
That's true.
It doesn't mean you've allowed that to mold you into something or into someone that you are or becoming. So it can be a bit funny there. It can be a bit funny there. Yeah.
Good.
I don't know where we are and how we're even getting into this leadership and
we started from parenting. We're talking about the kids.
Yeah, we're talking about that's what we're meant to talk about. We're meant to talk about father and daughters, isn't it? Yeah, father and daughters. Actually, and then, one thing leads to another. Anyway, as we said, we're just having a chat. We're having a conversation. We're pretending there are no cameras, and you were just having a listening and onto a conversation. My daughters have really, they molded me. They continue to mold me, and I love it when I come back home and these girls are running and jumping onto me, and it was tiring though, but it's amazing. And that age that they're in, very young, and so you want to do the best you can, and kids, and sometimes when they look at you and say, "Dad, you're the best dad," and then you feel, "Oh man, I'm good." But anyway, it does change you, because rarely do you find people, and not really like you taking this in as like, I said that as a joke, not like, I don't think I wake up thinking I'm some superhero dad or something, some extra. And but I just want to be available to them, bless them with my presence, love them when I'm around them, and just do the best I can, and just try and do it genuinely too, not wear a mask whilst doing it. you know, so that they know me for who I am, and not like, oh, we're not sure who he is. Yeah, this is who I am. You know, so it's beautiful. It's a blessing.
Yeah.
It's a blessing. And you, yeah, I think when you have daughters, you know, far-fetched, young, but you start thinking protection. Your guards are up, isn't it?
Guards are up.
The guards are up.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
it's beautiful. It's a beautiful
It's
experience.
beautiful.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
we I'll borrow the name of Liberty Church. We in even in our raising of our kids, we also have to raise them to be, you know, to have a certain liberty
Yeah.
with boundaries.
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
Because you don't also want to, you know, keep them so restrictive and
Yeah,
so
yeah.
confined that they it doesn't build their creativity.
Yeah.
as well.
They need room,
They
isn't
need
it?
room as well.
You need to give them room, and I think, yeah, you need to, even in our correction and discipline, we try to let them know it's out of love.
Yeah.
Because even God disciplines us. If He doesn't, then He doesn't. You know, there's a scripture like
Yeah.
that. Then He doesn't love us.
doesn't
So
love
and He loves us. So He's gonna just He's gonna love us well and make sure if we're going in a way like, yeah, I'm nudging you. Sometimes have to do whatever He needs to do to get us back on, and we thank God for that. We need that. We need that kind of nudging and pushing and knocking whatever He needs to do. A dad, Father, Lord, and so they need room to be who they are, because that's another thing. Try not to mold them to something you want them to be.
Yeah.
But keep thinking,
Yeah.
well, what is it that God has deposited in this girl that I have the privilege to nurture? That I look at it sometimes, and it's heavy.
It's heavy.
It's heavy because my second daughter, she is a bit wild, and sometimes you wanna. Sorry, you okay? You're probably gonna edit that out, but it's okay.
Yeah.
So, are you okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Are you back?
Yeah, I'm back.
You're alive.
I'm back.
Yeah. I almost said something.
All our jokes cannot come on camera.
I know it cannot
So that's
come
why
on
he said
this.
he almost said something.
Yeah. I'm trying to hold myself together and not say something. Yeah. Hopefully it doesn't overflow and spill. But let's see. What was I saying? I probably lost my line of thought. Yeah, my second daughter. She's a bit wild, wild spirit. She's got a very strong personality, of her own. The first one is amazing as well, but she's got different personality. And then sometimes she, when she's in that atmosphere, we're thinking, myself and my wife, we think, this is a bit too much. Can we do this to make sure? But then again, sometimes I'm like, I don't want to quench something that God may have deposited there for a reason. So, you want to nurture it and not, give them the room. Of course, there is a place for it, it's, as you said, boundaries, But also, we're learning in the process, we're becoming, I didn't have a fatherhood PhD in fatherhood. Good to go.
We still learning.
I'm learning on the job, and it's a blessing. When I think of that, it's actually a blessing that God will let us do that. Yeah, God will let us do that. So that's beautiful. So they do need room.
They do need room. And sometimes they push you to learn.
Oh yeah, they do.
Yeah, relentless, moving around and attitude will make you give up and be like, just run around, just be creative. There are times you want to restrict them, but they're so relentless that you give up and you be like, it's okay, go pick that one.
Explore. What it is that you want to learn, and it helps. It helps them to be very strong and very assertive as well, because you want that. You want them to be able to speak up.
It's something we lost.
Yeah. A bit of that.
Yeah.
A bit of that.
Yeah.
Bit of that, because different cultures.
Different cultures.
And you're growing up. Certain things. You don't do this. You don't say that. So sometimes it can box you a little bit.
Yeah.
So they need that. They need to have their voice.
Yeah.
They need to be able to speak when they want to speak, ask questions when they, and be critical thinkers and be problem solvers, and say they need to have a strong no. That's another thing.
Strong, not just a no, but a strong no. Because you can say no, but it might not be as strong.
Yeah, they need to be able to say no and mean it.
Yeah.
They need, and I allow them to tell me no sometimes. No, you don't say no to your dad. No. Because if I shut that no down, and you can't say no, it may be difficult for them to say no outside somewhere. So sometimes I ask them, I don't want that, and I have to, have a conversation. Why don't you want this? Because that, and they give me an explanation.
And their reason sometimes baffles your mind.
Yeah,
It's like it makes you feel like you're a fool.
Yeah.
Didn't you think of this?
Yeah. I mean, that's it. Yeah, and there are a few times that my daughter has, she'll give me a telling off.
Yeah.
Daddy, you're wasting water.
Okay.
Or Daddy, you're doing this, and you're like, yeah. And so, do you think, there's just a young, what do you have? Yeah, but God has deposited a lot in them, and we Paul again. Our sermon today, and we didn't do the sermon, by the way. Yeah, but it was beautiful. When Paul was saying about the people, of the Thessalonians, that their faith brings him encouragement. So sometimes when you see your children being able to speak up and articulate what they do, and even correct you, and give you a bit of a telling off and say, Daddy, that it encourages you. They push you. They push you to become a better version of yourself. Yeah, so they are part of our transformation journey, isn't it? Yeah,
it's beautiful.